Hi guys, thanks for joining me on Making with Marilyn. This is going to be a super quick video just to show you how you can smooth the edges and the flesh side of your leather. And what I'm going to use is this Toko Pro burnishing gum. It's said to be non-toxic, it's non-odor, and I found it to do a really great job at slicking my edges and the flesh side of my earrings. When I cut earrings, I often find that I have a lot of frays on them. For example, you can probably see frays around there, and then look at the back side of these earrings. That is just a mess. This has really long fibers, and I don't really like the look of that. I want something much more polished or professional looking. This is the same leather. I added the Toko Pro to the back and the sides, and I burnished it with my glass slicker. So let me go ahead and jump into the tutorial so you can see how it's done. It is super easy. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the large frays. I'm not going to worry about all the little small things that are hanging off the sides of these earrings, just the ones that are large enough that I can kind of snip them off. For this earring, that's it. Now sometimes there's a really long fiber sticking up, and if so, I'll snip it off the back as well. Okay, so really that's it. Just getting the big chunks, not spending the amount of time that I used to spend cleaning up the sides of leather, because I found it is so much faster and it ends up being nicer when I use this Toko Pro. I'm going to go ahead and shake it up off camera. Now I have seen some people just dip their finger in it. Sometimes I just dip it on the inside of the cover and they do it that way. I'm going to use my little popsicle stick to show you though the way you probably should do it. First, I'm going to start up at this top end because I want it to get burnished and kind of dry so that when I'm doing the rest of the earring, I can grab onto it from that top end. So I'll put a little bit of the Toko Pro on the ends of both earrings. And I like to really push it down into the fibers with my popsicle stick. Now, I'm going to use this burnishing glass. That might not be the technical name, but that's what I'm going to call it. And I'm just going to go like, rub like that. Just about 10 times is all I need to do. Then I'm going to take the edge of my popsicle stick and just go around the edges of this earring. Now, any excess, I'll wipe off the front. You could use a paper towel. I tend to just use my fingers. And then if there's anything sticking out, you just kind of push it over with your fingers. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, so there's one earring, just the top edge. Whoops. Just rub some along the edges and at this corner where the side meets the back side. All right, rub that along. Smooth down anything that needs to be smoothed down, and then wipe off the excess. Now I'm ready for the majority of the earring. So I just take about that much. That might be actually more than I really needed. But you can really slick it around with this popsicle stick. I have found much better than even with my finger. It just pushes it into the fibers really nicely. So let that set for just a minute. You don't need to let it sit very long at all. By the time I get this Toko Pro rubbed onto the back of this earring, I can go ahead and work on my first earring. Now this Toko Pro product is very similar in my understanding to Tokonole, Tokonole. I'll link to both in the description below, but I have not used the Tokonole. I've only used the Toko Pro, and I love it. So I definitely recommend it. Okay, so my glass slicker, again, I'm just going to do about 10 times. Now, you notice it's already on the side there. It kind of rubs off the excess onto the sides. So I'll smooth that down. I think these bottom edges could use just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go back around, make sure that any loose fibers get stuck down to the excess Toko Pro here. And then lastly, if there's any on the front, I'll wipe that off. Now, you would not use this on suede. It would discolor your suede. Maybe you could get away with doing it on the back, but I really feel like it would probably bleed over to the side and maybe you'd see it from the front. I don't know. I haven't tried it on suede, but it says not to use it on suede. Now, one of the benefits of this over gum trag is this is something that is appropriate for veg tan leather or chrome tan leather. And I've lost track of how many times I did that, but that looks good. Slick that down. Add a little bit to this end of the earring. Okay, then I'll just let that dry. Now, this I can already touch. It's not going to come up on my fingers. You can see there's a couple of spots that are a little thicker. So those aren't quite dry, but I think it's going to be gorgeous. Sometimes you can get away with one coat. Sometimes it'll take a couple of coats. But here is what it looks like when it dries. And look how smooth the earring, the sides, everything is. I just really love it. Some people just use it on their sides, and I have used it just on the sides when I do Saffiano leather. But on the leather that has the really long fibers on the flesh side, I like to slick them down. I just recently opened an Etsy shop, and so I really wanted to find out a very professional way how to finish off your earrings. And just in case you're interested in looking at my products, I'll put a link to my Etsy shop below as well. So thanks for joining me for my super quick video. I hope you found it helpful. If there's anything you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. And if you'd like to see what I'm working on in the future, hit that subscribe button. Thanks again. I'm Marilyn. Bye-bye.